Well, 200 pubs and bars around the country will not celebrate Australia Day next year, as owner, Australian Venue Co, claim it's a day of hurt for some patrons. Joining us live now is the Assistant Immigration Minister, Matt Thistlethwaite, the Liberal Senator Hollie Hughes. Good morning to you both. A few issues to talk about today. This is one of them, but Hollie, I'll start with you because this actually involves some of the most well-known watering holes in Victoria, Queensland and New South Wales. What are your thoughts on this?
When are these, and this is not individual pubs, let's be clear on that. This is a group that is putting out to its pubs. So again, it's this corporate overreach. I mean, when are they going to learn? I mean, I don't know about you, but I've barely been into a Woolworths since they last year decided they weren't going to sell Australia Day merchandise. And I think this is where Australians will consistently vote with their feet and not go to these venues anymore either. But it's just... I mean, it's commercially, it's stupid because it's a big day, that it's a public holiday, that Australians go out. But we had the voice. It was absolutely resoundingly defeated. And a lot of that defeat was driven by Indigenous Australians saying, absolutely, we don't want to be treated differently. And they celebrate Australia Day, many of them, in the same sort of way as non-Indigenous Australians. So I just think this is corporate overreach. They just don't seem to get it. That Australians just want to get on and be proud of their country and celebrate their country and not be dictated to what they should and shouldn't be proud of.
Matt, let's get your thoughts on that. I mean, this debate, it's always contentious, but it seems to be starting early this time around. What do you make of Hollie's comments there and your reaction to it?
It is starting early this year, Pete. It's our national day. It's a public holiday. The government has no intention of changing that. I'll be attending citizenship ceremonies in my community and other community celebrations. So it's part of our National Day of celebrations. So we're not changing that. As to what individuals do and organisations, that's up to them. It's a free country.
Yeah.
We're not going to force anyone to celebrate the day, but from the government's perspective, it's our national day, and it's the day we come together and unite and celebrate all the good things about our nation.
But that's the thing, though. Like Hollie was saying, the nation isn't really coming together. I mean, she's got a point there where once again we are seeing, at a corporate level, these businesses getting involved and kind of dictating what can and can't be done. Matt, do you agree with that point, that there is a corporate overreach here?
From the government's perspective, we do bring Australians together.
What's your view?
My view is that it's our national day and that we should celebrate it and that we come together as a community, respecting the fact that it is a difficult day for many Indigenous Australians, but nonetheless, we do come together and celebrate. It's up to individuals what they do on the day. That's the great thing about Australia. We don't force you to do anything. You can do whatever you like on the day and make sure that you can make your own decisions about how you celebrate Australia Day.
Yeah.
But these corporates, it is corporates now saying you can't celebrate Australia Day.
Yeah.
So it's not a national day of coming together. It's not people having the choice to mark Australia Day how they want. It's these businesses saying we are going to shove it under the rug. We don't want to talk about it. There won't be an Australian flag. They won't, have coasters with the flag or any acknowledgement of Australia or boxing kangaroos or however you want to emulate Australia. They are now dictating that they won't have it. So it's not about choice. It's not about deciding how you want to celebrate it. These guys are effectively saying to all of their pubs, no, you won't be.
They're not saying you can't celebrate Australia Day. They're saying
no.
They're not going to celebrate Australia Day.
You can't celebrate in their
one
pubs.
of these pubs, you won't know it's on.
Just go to another pub.
Oh, mate, you know what?
Ever since
they've taken over Kingsley's at Woolloomooloo, the steaks have been rubbish. So don't go there.
Let's move on, Matt. The respected economist Chris Richardson, he has provided a damning indictment of your economics team led by Jim Chalmers, saying some of your off-budget spending is looking increasingly dodgy. You've had a good run of luck for a number of years now, but now you're apparently running out of it. What are your thoughts?
Well, there's 3 points I want to make about this, Pete. Firstly, if you look at government expenditure to GDP, it's actually come down under the Labor Party. In 2020, under the Liberal Party, it was 44% of GDP. In 2021, it was 41%. In the last year, 2023, it had fallen to 37.2%. So that's the first point. Government expenditure as a proportion of GDP under the Labor Party has come down. Second point is we're running budget surpluses. So we're saving more than we're spending, which is the appropriate thing to do at the moment. We've had some revenue upgrades, and we've saved all of those. That's the responsible thing to do. The third point goes to the future. And that is, we've been honest, and we've saying to people that yes, there are pressures on the budget into the future. So what we've done is we've put in place measures through legislative reform, and a few of those went through the Parliament last week, like reforming the NDIS and reforming aged care to reduce those pressures on the budget into the future. Yeah. So there's three areas where we've been responsible economic managers, and we've got better outcomes than the Liberal Party did when they were in government.
Close it out, Hollie.
Yeah. It's just all rubbish. I'm glad Matt memorised their talking points this morning. Absolute rubbish. And Australians know it. If you listen to this government, they're basically telling Australians you've never had it so good, when Australians know how tough that they are really finding it. What we do know is there is unprecedented levels of off-budget spending. We saw last week the most obscene number of bills guillotined. And for those who aren't aware of Senate process, a big chunk of those were coming to the Senate as first readers, which means there's been no debate, no analysis, no review. Senate may as well not have existed as the House of Review, pushing through this flurry of bills on Thursday. And it cost this government $500 million to do it, because that's how much money they gave to the Greens to allow them to guillotine these bills. We know Australians are seeing it harder and harder to pay for groceries, the supermarket. Their energy bills are out of control. You cannot subsidise your way out of a cost of living crisis, which is exactly what this government's doing. We'll probably go to an election well before they deliver a budget, because we know there are deficits as far as the eye can see after this government's abject failure.
Yeah, no rate cuts either.
Nope.
Matt, Hollie, we've got to leave it there, but thank you both. We'll talk to you again soon.